We are live. Welcome to Office Hours. My name is Nora. This is Stowe, and together we provide practical advice to independent artists. Today, we're talking about calls to action and making the ask because some of y'all do so much work to you get in the spaces, you make the connections, but then you expect someone to read your mind and offer you something. So, how do you set up good calls to action? How do you make the ask? That's everything that we're talking about today. What's up, Stowe? How are you?
We're doing good. Calls to action, making the ask. It's not always easy. I literally had a couple conversations about this morning.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a topic that I'm surprised we haven't tackled yet after 100 episodes, but I think this is an important one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you cannot expect people to read your mind and know what you want. And so if you want something, you have to ask for it, and you have to ask for it clearly, and you have to ask for it specifically. And you want to set yourself up for success in making the ask by laying the groundwork. So when you're building that relationship, when you're sharing and you're giving and you're, building a relationship that's meaningful and connected, and you've given to your audience, then when you make a clear, specific, singular ask, then it lets people know what they can do to help you or how they can show up for you. Because most people do want to show up. Most people do want to support, but you cannot leave it to them to do all the mental labor of figuring out what that looks like. So you have to be, again, clear, specific, and direct in making that ask. And that's probably the most important thing that I can tell you about calls to action and making the ask. Clear, direct, specific, and actually ask it.
And, and I'm sure Nora does the same. I talk to all my clients about this. If you leave it entirely up to the listener to figure out the best way for you to be supported, they're going to make a lot of assumptions that don't always cater to that. The most common one is the streaming platform or whatever. I can't tell you how many people who aren't working in music like we are, who are I've streamed such and such 100 times, so I'm sure I'm having an impact. And it's just and every time I talk to a client, it's just well, we all here know that that's not the case, but a casual listener, a casual supporter does not know that. They really don't. It's not like they're out here actually doing the research and saying oh, okay, every stream is actually less than a penny. Damn, they're not doing that. And so you really do. Unfortunately, I have in working this as a consultant and whatnot, and talking to Nora so much, it's unfortunately, this goes for real life outside of music as well. If you don't tell people how you need to be supported, they are going to make their best guess, and it's not always going to be what you need. That's not to say that they're out here trying to scuff you or whatever. It's genuinely an education point. They don't know any better. But if you hop in front of the camera and say, hey, I appreciate you all streaming my song X amount of times, but if you chip in $10 over here, that does exponentially more for me than even 10,000 streams.
That education piece is really important because you assume that people know the same things that you do, but the casual listener, the casual consumer has no idea what you need or has no idea what would be supportive for you. And so for you to say, hey, if you will support me, if you really want to, support local artists, go to my Bandcamp. They might not even know what Bandcamp is. They might not even know that their $10 of buying your song or $9 or whatever it might be is going to benefit you more. And so educating your audience, and this is why, and that's why the ask doesn't happen in a vacuum. The ask happens on top of all the other things that Stowe and I have been telling you over 100 plus episodes of. When you share the behind the scenes, you're educating your audience. When they see that like the Spotify is a shitty organization and they don't really benefit artists. And so you're talking about that. Or when they see how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into producing something and the cost of being an artist. So it's worth it for them to give you the $6.99 that you're asking for the album or whatever it might be. All of that adds up so that when you make this call to action, you've educated them and they're informed and they can support you from an informed place. So that education piece is really, really important. And the other thing that Stowe brought up that I also think is important, and I talk a lot about this with my clients, is like, we cannot separate like our personal shit from our work stuff. So if you have a hard time asking for help in your personal life, you probably have a hard time making clear and direct asks in your professional life. Like,
you're not supposed to be cooking me live. God damn it.
You brought it up, Stowe. But it's the same thing. And you know, like so it's practicing and recognizing, like, honestly, part of it is recognizing, why is it so hard to ask for help? And why is it so hard to make a direct ask? And are you, self-sabotaging by not asking? Or are you afraid that we're going to say no? Or were you taught that you should do it all by yourself and not ask for help? And oh my God, how dare you have needs and rely on other people? Like, this is personal shit that a lot of us like come up with, or, like have to unlearn as we reparent ourselves. And you just got to do it. Like, no one is going to magically read your mind and be like, okay, this is what you need, and let me offer it to you. But you can ask and you can give people the choice to say yes or no. Yes, I can help you. No, I can't help you. Yes, I want to support you. No, I can't support you right now. And this is the piece that, like, just because someone says no, and I teach this in negotiation too, like, just because someone says no does not mean they don't support you, does not mean they are rejecting you, does not care about you. It just means this one thing is not within their capacity right now. And so an honest no gives you a ton of information for then how else you can ask, or what else you can ask for, or what you can revisit. So a no is actually really useful and much more helpful than a dishonest or a disingenuous yes.
Exactly.
So don't take that no personally.
Right. And slowing back just a smidge to the platform piece, like, if you're, like Nora said, if you're showing people where, oh my God, there's a spider in here. Show people how to specifically support, because what I've seen lately, especially, is Even. I've talked to so many independent artists that are like, I'm hopping on Even. Like, I saw J. Cole, I saw insert artist here talk about the platform. I'm doing it. And it's just like, your average fan probably has no idea what that platform is. And honestly, unfortunately, if you just spring it on them and just say, hey, I'm on Even, support me if you really want the music, like, they're not always going to take those extra steps to be like, okay, like, what is this? Like, why is this important? Why should I even spend money here when it's going to be on streaming in X amount of days? Like, you have to sometimes hold their hand through the support process. Like, you have to point them where you want them to go. They're not always going to figure it out on their own. And in fact, they usually don't. Like I said, if you give them the opportunity to just kind of figure it out on their own, they're usually going to pick the best option, honestly, for themselves. And rightfully so. Like, that's how it works. But if you say, hey, I need support on insert platform here, and it requires, $10, $20, whatever, because it allows me to continue to be able to create, like, that does so much more for everybody involved, versus what I feel like happens all the time, and I see it on social media all the time, is like this kind of like artist versus fan, almost like engagement, where it's like, y'all not supporting me. And not even that anymore. Like, I'm not seeing that as much, but even just like, they're not, yeah.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
When artists get mad at their fans, gives me the biggest ick. It's such entitled weirdo behavior. And like, nobody owes you anything. Sorry, Stowe, I know I totally cut you off, but it's like, when
no, you're perfect.
Like, if you get mad at your audience for not supporting you, the fault lies with you. Your audience does not owe you support. You have to earn that. You earn their respect, you earn their time, you earn their attention, you earn their clicks, their actions, all that stuff. And so the answer is not to then scold your audience for not supporting you. The answer is for you to look at, where have you failed in closing the gap between you and them? Where have you failed in not building a meaningful relationship with them? Why are they not emotionally invested in you? And usually that's because you haven't been transparent enough. You're not being vulnerable enough. You're not showing the process. You're not investing in them. And so and it's the same thing when artists get on stage and like an audience is kind of like mid energy and they're like, oh, you guys suck. Why don't you give me energy? That's not going to make me want to give you more.
They already paid.
And so like, it is on you as the artist to set the standard for how you want your audience to behave. However, I think we talked about this around like Tyler, the Creator years ago, where like your audience is going to take their cues on how to behave from you. And so if you are loving and caring and supportive there, and I'm not saying everyone has to be like la-di-da, but you teach your audience how you want them to engage and interact with you. And so if you're flippant and dismissive and then get mad when they're flippant and dismissive, well, that's the culture that you've built. And so it is never your audience's fault for not supporting you. It's what have you done to earn their respect and gain that support. It really is on you. And I know that's like harsh to hear, but no, I hate when artists are like, oh, you guys don't, and then you look and like all they've done is like shit on their audience or like ignore the fans that are there because they don't have the numbers that they want. Like,
exactly. We've talked about this so many times and we're bouncing all over the place, but I think it still works in between, because you can't make an ask and then be like, oh, you guys suck for not fulfilling. And so we've talked about this before. It's like, it's so, and I used to fall for this trap all the time. I want to make that clear. Like I used to beat myself up and all that type of stuff, but it's like, you have to remember, people are supporting you literally right now. If I don't care if you have 10 monthly listeners or 50 streams or whatever, like seriously, just for take a second, because sometimes I think we, especially now that we're so far into the digital age and social media age and playlisting age and curation age and blah, 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 we forget that, like, hold on a second, 100 people listening to my song, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Pull up a picture of a room of 100 people. I've done that. I've literally done that because it's so easy to forget. Because now, oh my God, I'm flying off the handle, but I don't care. Virality used to be a couple hundred views. It used to be hitting 1,000 views or 1,000 on anything was going viral. Nowadays, if you aren't hitting 10,000 or 1,000,000 or whatever, that's not viral or whatever. And it's just like, no, slow down and understand. Like, if people are seeing and following you, that is them supporting. That's a version of support. It's not perfect. We understand that. We talk so much about turning people from followers into actual paying supporters, but them following you, that's a step in supporting you. And even if your numbers are small or whatever, I don't care if 10 people listen to your song. Like, that's 10 people. That's 10 individuals that you can be reaching out to, that can be expanding and using word of mouth to talk about your music, bashing your fans and followers for not doing exactly what you want or hitting the numbers, because that's the other thing. It's funny. It's so funny. I watch artists, they start bashing their fans and they hit the numbers that they want. And then they start bashing their fans again. And even then they hit the numbers still. And it's just like, wait a minute, like, you actually are getting support. You can't be out here absolutely demolishing the people that are following you and the fans that actually are supporting, because then they're gonna be like, oh damn, I guess my shit don't mean anything, so I'm out. No one wants to see that.
Yeah, like, if I've supported you and you're like critiquing me, I'm not going to continue to support you. And that's also where, like, to your point that like 100 is a lot. 10 people who are paying your Bandcamp rates, that's a lot, because you're not trying to be right. And this is like having your strategy as an independent artist, the goal should not be get as many streams as possible if you're trying to be financially like, you know, like viable as an artist, because you're going to need so many to make a little bit of money, versus if you're doing Bandcamp or you're doing merch or you're doing other direct to consumer type things, you only need a few fans to make more money. And so thinking about what are the ways that your audience can interact with you. Not everyone is going to be at that top tier. Some people want the like free app, right? And you see this like with our offerings with me and Stowe. Like I offer a ton of free things. You can come to office hours, that's free. You can come to co-working, that's free. You can come to like the Culture Fix Discord, that's free. There's a ton of things that a lot of people take advantage of. That's free. Cool, great, lovely. I love that people tap into that. Then there's like a mid-tier where you can come to one of my workshops. That's more affordable, and more people do that, but less than do the free things. And then my peak, right? If we think of it like a triangle, then my peak is the people who pay a little bit more money for my one-on-one consulting. It channels this way. So there's going to be different tiers of fans that you have. And you want to think about as an artist, what are the different ways that people can interact with you and that they can support you. And then you want to tailor your asks, your calls to action in ways that are appropriate for each of those levels. So that like general fan, maybe what you're asking is a subscribe button, which is what we're going to ask you all to do now. You like that transition? If you watch this of our office hours episode, hit the subscribe and share it with a friend. Tag Stowe and I so we could love on you and support you and appreciate you for sharing us. That's like a simple ask you can make. Then what's your mid-tier, right? Like, can they get, you know, sign up for your newsletter? Can they, can you ask them to share, you know, like one of your reels to their stories? Can you ask them to, what is it that you can ask them to do? And then what's the next tier, which might be like, ask them to make a reel using one of your songs, or it might be asking them to, I don't know, like press play on a video or recommend a booking agent in their community to you. These are all different levels. Notice that all of the examples, and I'm just making shit up as we go, so they're not perfect, are still clear and specific. At no point did I say, run it up. At no point did I say, do what you do. At no point did I say, tell me what you think. Like and I know Stowe and I get this all the time, is like people on the business side of things, people reach out to me all the time and say, tell me what you think. About what? When? How? Where? Like, I want to support, but if you're asking me to do labor for free that I normally get paid for, the least you can do is be specific.
Help me.
Right. Help me help you. And that's the clear thing about making an ask, is help people help you, because most people, like I said, most people want to be helpful, but you have to show that you're going to be respectful of their time and their attention that they're giving you, because attention capital is super important.
And that extends to even things like press. Like, you can't, like, we've talked about this literally through, you know, all of our episodes and stuff like that, but it's just like so many of you just send a link and are expecting an entire, like some of you genuinely are expecting an entire review or an interview or whatever. And if you don't get that, you're going to start slam dunking them. And it's just like, me and Nora have worked in the blog writing space during the blog era, writing for all types of publications. And I think Nora will agree, like, it makes it so much easier to cover you when you tell me what you need and what you're expecting of me, not even just from that point, but then again, making that ask requires like, hey, the information, because we're probably just talking for the first time. Like, you have to set that up. Otherwise, again, like, that's extra work for the press to have to bounce between platforms to try to figure out how to even write an intro on you. And so, you know, all that stuff comes together to, like, one, get organized, but second, just make sure that your calls to action and when you're making the ask, it's clear. And for the love of God, don't just be like, hey, review my music. Here's a link. Like, bruh. and again, even with your audience, it's it's not just about using them up in terms of getting them to or farming in compliments and stuff like that. Like, you're trying to make them be a part of what you're doing, not simply observing. And so that's why, like, making these direct asks, even outside of just, hey, support me and give me money on insert platform here. Like Nora said, she gave a whole list of asks that require no money. Like, I think sometimes when we say making the ask, it's, hey, I'm asking to perform at this venue. I'm asking, like, sure, that's part of it, but like asking your supporters to share what you're doing, asking your supporters, and honestly, I don't give a shit. That extends outside of music. There's so much bullshit going on in the world right now. Simply sharing a link that supports people that are currently in danger, people that are currently being are suffering on all types of levels, sharing and telling your supporters, hey, not only to share this link or share this organization or share this, drive that you're doing or whatever, it's also having them share it out themselves. It's not just about, hey, making the ask for my music. It's making the ask so that we all can be supporting each other all over the place, whether it's music, other types of art. Again, people suffering overseas, people that literally who are losing water because of these data centers that are being built and stuff like that. There are so many different causes and ways to make asks to push your audience in different directions that is not just indulging or whatever.
And I think that piece, like, so what you were saying made me think of our Mystery is Not a Brand episode that we did kind of earlier on. I'll when I'm done talking, I'll go look and tell y'all what episode that was. But, like, people will say, oh, well, I already did that. Okay, but you did it once and you did it again. Time ago. Like, repetition, the way, and we know this, right? Like, social media does not show everything to everyone. Even if you're sending out a newsletter, not everyone is going to open that newsletter. Not everyone is going to read it. Plus, on top of that, it takes people 8 to 11 interactions with something for it to register and sink in. So you might.
And that's gone up since COVID.
Yeah. So you need to ask a few times. You need to share a few times. You need to lay out the context over and over and over again, a few times until it registers, until people put the pieces together, until people care, right? That's how, like, this happens with, like, radio all the time. A song becomes a hit because the radio plays it over and over and over again. And at first you're like, ugh, I hate that song. But you've heard it enough times that you're like, oh, I guess I'm going to like it because I have no choice but to hear it. And so, like, it's okay to repeat yourself. It's okay to say the same thing over and over, or to ask for the same thing over and over, or to, put out the same information over and over again, because it takes multiple times. And I think that's also, like, a personal thing. Some of us are so afraid of rejection that the first time we hear no, we're like, okay, I'm never asking again. But that's not fair to your audience and to your community, because, again, the no is not personal. They're just not ready. And you need to ask again. You need to reframe. You need to provide more context. That's your labor to do. And I want to be clear, like, again, because we talk about spam a lot. This is, you make the ask after you've done all this other work. So this is not saying, hey, email me a link to your song and be like, run this up, do what you can with this, right? Like, we're still treating people like people. We're still, like, all of that stuff still stands. But if you want something, again, I'm going to say it for, like, the third time in this episode, you have to ask clearly and specifically for the thing that you want. Clear and specific. That's, like, the key points today.
I lost the spider.
Are you afraid of spiders?
God. I'm not afraid. I'm also not trying to have one crawling up on me.
Take it.
The spider was in the background right now. You're not freaking out.
No, okay. So one time I saw this spider, and I don't kill spiders, but I take them outside. And one time I had this, like, outer body experience where I was like, oh no, if I take the spider outside, am I like displacing the spider? Maybe the spider is trying to go home and I've now like displaced it and I've made the spider. So I had this whole like, oh my, and then I was like, I'm this like big alien thing coming to move the spider. What if the spider is panicked? Like I had a whole experience with the spider. So now I don't even move the spiders. Like the spider is going to do whatever it wants to do because I'm in the spider's environment. So before the fires in LA last year, there was a spider that had built its little web in my bathroom window. And I had become so attached to this spider. Like I had named her, I would check on her. She didn't bother nobody. She was just living her happy life.
What is going on?
And so I would take Push and I'd be like, Push, look at your spider sibling. But then when the fires came, the spider went away and I haven't seen her since. So I'd like to think that she, escaped and is living happily somewhere else. But I like spiders. And they kill mosquitoes. Okay. They're good for the environment.
What is that? What just happened? You almost had me until you said you literally brought a Push up to the damn. Hey, look, what?
Well, I'm also, I gotta give Push like new experiences in life.
I don't remember reading socialization in my puppy handbook with spiders.
There was a pet store and they had like fish and they had like gerbils and like little mammals. And Push, for whatever reason, loved that place. It was like doggy Disneyland. And I would take Push and I'd pick him up and I'd show him like, look at the fish, look at the snakes, look at the, he's never seen those things before. So I know how it sounds. Listen, in parenting Push, I'm reparenting myself. Let's just be really clear. It has nothing to do
with here. I'm willing to admit, same here.
It has nothing to do with Push and everything with healing my inner child. So
fucking hell. Oh my God.
Anyways, we will talk about our therapy sessions another time, but today we're 27 minutes into this episode. If you've watched this far, please make sure you hit the subscribe, share, do a like, drop a comment. Let us know if any of this resonated or what makes it hard for you to make an ask. Where do you struggle? And we always respond to all of our comments. Stowe and I do this because we care about artists and we believe that y'all are doing such good things that the world needs to see more of. If you'd like to show appreciation for our work, you can send a tip or donation to us at Venmo or CashApp. Just put office hours in the subject line and it gets shared between us very evenly. If you have episodes that you'd like to see us do or things that are, what are you struggling with as an artist? Always drop those in the comments or let Stowe and I know. We're also available for one-on-one and two-on-one support, whatever it takes to help you all be more successful in the art that you're making and get more people to listen to it. Because we need the art, we need storytellers, we need different ways of thinking about the world around us because there's so much happening these days. Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah. Hit the like button. It helps us get in front of more people who need this information. Yo, hit that dono link though. Your boy's struggling with spiders. I need $1. But seriously, thank you for supporting us over 100 episodes. It blows my mind every time I set up an episode and seeing the number that we're on. Share this out. Share it with your friends, your peers, your label, your group, whatever. Share it with them. Damn, I meant to look up what was next, but it doesn't matter. Actually, you know what? Tell you what. Follow us on IG. We'll be on IG next week.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday. Who knows what the hell we'll talk about. But our sessions over there actually are great because we do just kind of like what's going on right now. Let's talk about it. And our last joint had over 400 views. So make sure you're over there too. Leave us any questions, any topics that you want us to cover over here. We're here to serve you all. And that's what this channel is for. And so anything that you're concerned with or questions that you have, there's a lot of bullshit going on right now. And so help us out. Let us know what you need. And we'll be back here in a couple weeks, but join us next week over on Instagram.
And then our next YouTube episode is about, should you have dinner with Daisy? Would you take the
That's right.
Would you take the
And we setting up that episode early. We're going to get people mad early.
We have opinions. But come back in 2 weeks for that. See you on Instagram next week. Holler at us if you need anything. Drink some water. Take care of yourself. Take care of your community. And see you all next time. Bye.
Bye. All right.